Hello. The envelope slides across my desk at work, unmarked except for a post-it note reading, "Open when alone." I recognize Derek's handwriting, my best friend since college, the guy who was my best man 3 years ago. My stomach drops as I realize what this might be about. For weeks, he's been acting strange whenever Ashley, my wife, comes up in conversation. I wait until my lunch break, drive to the park where I used to take morning runs with Ashley before she got too busy, and open the envelope with trembling hands. Inside are screenshots of text messages, hotel receipts, and what makes my blood run cold, photos taken through a car window. Ashley, her blonde hair unmistakable, kissing a man I recognize as her strictly professional colleague Ryan. The timestamp spans 6 months. 6 fucking months of lies, of her telling me she's working late at her marketing firm, of mysterious business trips that always seem to coincide with Ryan's schedule. The most recent photo is from 2 days ago, outside a boutique hotel downtown, where she claimed to be attending a women's leadership seminar. I scroll through the texts Derek managed to recover. Ashley to Ryan, "He's so clueless. Thinks I'm at yoga right now. Miss your hands on me." Ryan, "Can't wait for next week's conference in Vegas." My wife, "Already bought some special lingerie just for you." The rage building inside me is unlike anything I've ever felt. But beneath it, there's something else, a cold, calculating clarity. Because what Ashley doesn't know is that I'm not just the boring accountant she complains about to her lover. Before settling into corporate life, I spent 5 years as a forensic financial investigator. And she's about to learn exactly what that means. I call in sick for the afternoon, drive home, and boot up my laptop. Within an hour, I've accessed every joint account, every investment, every piece of property we share. Ashley's been smart about hiding her affair, but she's been incredibly stupid about hiding money. I find thousands in unexplained purchases, hotel charges carefully categorized as professional development. And this makes me laugh darkly. A secret credit card she used to buy that special lingerie. By evening, I've documented everything, contacted my lawyer, and set in motion a plan that will leave her with exactly what she deserves. But that's just the beginning. Because I also found something in those financial records that even Derek didn't know about. Something that connects Ashley, Ryan, and 3 other executives at their firm to $2.1 million in missing client funds. I pick up my phone and make a call to an old colleague at the SEC. Sometimes karma needs a little push. That night, Ashley comes home late as usual, her designer perfume mixed with what I now recognize as guilt. She kisses my cheek, launches into an elaborate story about a difficult client meeting, and I marvel at how easily the lies flow from her lips. 3 years of marriage, and I never noticed how her left eyebrow twitches slightly when she's constructing her false narratives. "Rough day," I ask, playing along. "You must be exhausted from all those presentations." I watch her face carefully as she nods, already scrolling through her carefully guarded phone. The same phone that's now secretly backing up to my cloud account thanks to the software update I installed while she was out. "The strangest thing happened at work today," I say casually. "Remember Lauren from accounting? Apparently, her department is investigating some irregularities in client billing. Something about unauthorized transfers and misreported campaign expenses." The phone slips from her manicured fingers, clattering onto our granite countertop. For a split second, real fear flashes across her face before she composes herself. "That's concerning," she manages, "but I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. Ryan's team handles all our billing anyway." "Ryan," I keep my voice neutral. "He's been working late too, hasn't he?" "I wouldn't know," she says quickly. Too quickly. We're on different floors now. I almost admire her commitment to the lie. While she showers, I review the latest data from her phone. Dozens of deleted messages recovered, each one more damning than the last. But it's her emails that prove most interesting, especially the ones to offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. The next morning, I'm in my lawyer's office before dawn. By noon, our assets are frozen, and I've submitted an anonymous tip to both the SEC and the State Attorney General's office. The evidence is overwhelming. Ashley and Ryan haven't just been sleeping together. They've been running an elaborate scheme to siphon money from their biggest clients' advertising budgets. I'm about to head back to the office when my phone buzzes. A text from Ashley. Emergency at work. Might be a late night. I smile, knowing exactly what kind of emergency she's facing. The SEC doesn't make quiet entrances, and their forensic team is probably going through her office right now. I text back, "No problem, babe. By the way, I found your red lingerie receipt from La Perla. Early anniversary gift." 3 dots appear as she types, disappear, appear again. Finally, "What are you talking about? Check your email," I reply. "I sent you something interesting. And Ashley, you might want to call a lawyer. A good one." I turn off my phone, knowing that when she opens that email, she'll find copies of every incriminating document, every secret text, every fraudulent transaction. All CC to the firm's board of directors, the SEC, and her parents. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just exposing the affair. It's exposing everything. By late afternoon, my office becomes ground zero for the aftermath. Ashley's frantic calls light up every phone I own. Work, personal, even my old backup number. I silence them all, watching the chaos unfold through the corporate grapevine. The SEC's raid on the marketing firm's offices is already making headlines in industry newsletters. Derek stops by, concern etched on his face. "You okay, man?" Security just escorted Ashley and Ryan out in front of everyone. It's all over the company's Slack channels. I lean back in my chair, oddly calm. "You know what's funny? Last week she told me I was emotionally unavailable. Said I never took enough risks, never showed enough passion. Guess embezzlement and adultery weren't the kind of risks she meant." He sits down, sliding a flask across my desk. I wave it away. I need clarity for what's coming next. Thing is, I continue. She wasn't entirely wrong. I did shut down after my dad's affair destroyed my family. Spent years building walls, protecting myself. Ashley knew that story, knew what infidelity did to me. That's what makes this so much worse. My phone buzzes again. This time it's Ashley's mother. The same woman who, at our wedding, praised me for being such a stable, reliable choice for her daughter. I let it go to voicemail, already knowing what I'll hear. Ashley's parents are old money, obsessed with appearances. By now, their precious daughter has probably spun some story casting herself as the victim. "You should see the text she's sending," I tell Derek, pulling up the messages. Swears the embezzlement was all Ryan's idea. Says she only went along because he threatened to expose their affair to me. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. As if that would have been worse than stealing millions from clients. A new email pops up, from Ryan's wife Emma. My stomach tightens as I open it, expecting accusations or anger. Instead, I find solidarity and gratitude. Turns out Ashley wasn't Ryan's only side piece. He's been running this scam for years, using affair partners in different departments to cover his tracks. Emma's been gathering evidence for months but couldn't prove the financial angle. "You know what really gets me?" I tell Derek, forwarding Emma's email to my lawyer. "Ashley used to mock my boring job, my attention to detail. Called me obsessive when I'd analyze our monthly statements. Meanwhile, she and Ryan were sloppy enough to leave digital fingerprints all over their scheme. They thought no one would look closely at marketing budgets, at expense reports. Classic auditor's fallacy. Assuming everyone else is as careless with numbers as you are." My desk phone rings, Ashley's attorney, probably trying to negotiate. Too late for that. The SEC doesn't make deals once they have evidence this solid. And my own lawyers have ironclad documentation of every transgression, both personal and professional. I start packing up my office. Tomorrow, I'll be giving formal statements to federal investigators, providing testimony that will dismantle not just Ashley's life, but an entire network of fraud she helped create. The higher-ups at her firm are already distancing themselves, preparing to throw her under the bus to save their own reputations. "You're handling this differently than I expected," Derek observes, helping me box up files. "That's because Ashley never really knew me," I reply, picking up a framed photo from our honeymoon and dropping it in the trash. "She saw what she wanted to see. a predictable numbers guy who'd never question her lies. She forgot that accountants don't just count beans. We follow trails. We find patterns. And sometimes, we uncover stories that people desperately want to keep hidden. That night, I drive to our house, soon to be just mine, according to my lawyer, knowing Ashley will be waiting. The security cameras I installed show her Mercedes in the driveway, her frantic pacing visible through the windows. I sit in my car for a moment, remembering all the nights I waited up for her, believing her lies about late meetings and client dinners. When I walk in, she's a mess. Mascara streaked down her face, designer outfit wrinkled, that perfect blonde hair disheveled. For a moment, I see flashes of the woman I fell in love with, before she crafted herself into this polished facade of success at any cost. "How could you do this to me?" she screams, gesturing with her phone. The board is talking about pressing charges. My parents are hysterical. Ryan's not answering my calls, and his wife is threatening to sue me personally. I pour myself a whiskey, noting how she makes herself the victim even now. Interesting choice of words, Ashley. How could I do this to you? Not how could you betray every promise we made. Not how could you steal from clients who trusted you. It wasn't like that. She moves closer, trying to employ the physical chemistry that once sparked between us. Ryan manipulated everything. He said if I didn't help, he'd ruin my career. Then one thing led to another. You mean one lie led to another? I interrupt, stepping away from her reach. One betrayal led to another. One night of cheating led to another. Tell me, was it worth it? The thrill of sneaking around, the excitement of stealing millions? Did it cure your boredom with our mundane life? Her face twists into something ugly. You want to know the truth? Yes, it was exciting. Ryan made me feel alive. While you obsessed over spreadsheets and investment portfolios, he showed me how to really live. The money, the sex, the danger. It was everything our marriage wasn't. I laugh, and the sound makes her flinch. That's where you're wrong, Ashley. Our marriage was exactly what you made it. Every time you lied about working late, every time you gaslit me about being paranoid or controlling when I asked questions, you created this situation. I just revealed it. I'll tell everyone you knew about the fraud. She threatens, desperation creeping into her voice, that you helped us hide it. They'll believe me. Everyone knows how detail-oriented you are with finances. Go ahead, I reply calmly, pulling out my phone. But first, listen to this. I play a recording, her conversation with Ryan from last week, captured by the home security system she never paid attention to, explicitly discussing how they kept me in the dark about their schemes. She crumples onto our expensive couch, the one she insisted on buying with what I now know was stolen money. What do you want? I'll do anything. We can fix this. Start over. That's the difference between us, Ashley. You still think everything can be negotiated, manipulated, fixed with the right lies. But some things break permanently. Trust, loyalty, love. You didn't just cheat on me. You cheated on who I thought you were. Her phone buzzes. Probably her lawyer warning her not to talk to me. Too late. Every word of this conversation is being recorded. Another nail in the coffin of her desperate attempts to salvage her reputation. 3 months later, I watch Ashley walk into the federal courthouse for her sentencing hearing. Her designer clothes are gone, replaced by a modest suit that her parents' money barely managed to buy after the asset freeze. The media circus around the marketing firm's collapse has drawn a crowd, and I notice how she still plays to the cameras, perfecting her victim of circumstances expression. Ryan took a plea deal last week, agreeing to testify against her and the other executives involved. His testimony painted a damning picture of Ashley as not just a willing participant, but often the architect of their most elaborate schemes. The woman I married, who claimed she was bad with numbers, had orchestrated financial frauds that even seasoned investigators called impressive. Emma, Ryan's now ex-wife, sits beside me in the courtroom. We formed an unexpected alliance over these months, helping each other understand how we missed the signs, how we let ourselves believe the lies we were told. Ready for this? She whispers as Ashley's attorney begins his final plea for leniency. I nod, squeezing her hand. What Ashley never understood about me, about us, was that true strength isn't found in exciting risks or dangerous liaisons. It's found in the courage to face truth, to rebuild from betrayal, to stand firm when everything falls apart. The judge's voice fills the courtroom, listing Ashley's crimes: conspiracy, fraud, embezzlement, money laundering, the personal betrayals. Her affairs, her lies, her manipulation aren't mentioned in the formal charges, but they're written in every line of her body as she stands to receive her sentence. 7 years in federal prison. No possibility of early release. As they lead her away, she turns to look at me one last time. The mask finally cracks, and I see something real in her eyes. Perhaps the first genuine emotion she's shown in years. Is it regret? Hatred? Understanding? It doesn't matter anymore. Outside the courthouse, reporters shove microphones in my face, asking how it feels to be the whistleblower who brought down one of the biggest marketing fraud schemes in recent history. They want to know if I suspected my wife all along, if our marriage was just a cover for her crimes. I think about the questions I asked myself in those dark nights after discovering her betrayal. Was I too trusting? Too blind? Too willing to believe in the fairy tale of our life together? The answer, I've realized, is both simpler and more complex. I was exactly who I claimed to be. She was the one living a lie. Emma and I walk away from the media frenzy, heading to the quiet bar where we've spent many evenings helping each other heal. We're not dating, we're both too scarred for that right now, but we understand each other in a way few others can. Sometimes, betrayal doesn't just end relationships. It forges new ones from the ashes. You know what's ironic? I tell her as we settle into our usual booth. Ashley always said I was too cautious, too methodical, too focused on details. She never realized those same traits would be her undoing. Emma raises her glass. To karma, and the accountants who help it along. I clink my glass against hers, feeling the last weight of Ashley's betrayal finally lift from my shoulders. Tomorrow, I'll start my new job at a prestigious forensic accounting firm. It turns out that uncovering a multimillion-dollar fraud scheme looks pretty good on a resume. But tonight, I'll celebrate something more personal. The knowledge that sometimes, the best revenge isn't just exposing lies. It's reclaiming your truth. Looking back, I realized that Ashley was right about one thing. I had built walls to protect myself from betrayal. But those walls didn't make me weak. They made me observant. They didn't make me boring. They made me thorough. And in the end, they didn't trap me in a mundane life. They gave me the strength to demand an honest one. The firm's managing partner called me ruthlessly efficient in how I gathered and presented evidence. He's wrong. I wasn't ruthless. I was righteous. And the efficiency, well, that's just who I've always been. Ashley simply made the mistake of thinking precision was the same as predictability. Her last text message, sent the night before her sentencing, still sits unread on my phone. I really did love you in my way. Maybe she did. But love without honesty is like fraud without numbers. Eventually, everything has to be accounted for. Thank you for listening the story to the end. Write your thoughts about it in the comments and do not forget to subscribe. See you in the next videos. Bye.